Bro,
He's
bro. Now, you might disagree with me, but I think that the reason why some people don't understand the whole God idea is because they believe in God instead of desiring to be like God. Naturally, if let me say from the Muslim perspective, right, and see if this doesn't make sense. If
Yeah,
Allah
go
is
ahead.
the most righteous, the most merciful, that will make Allah the ultimate example of what you should desire to be like. So saying that you want to be like God will not be offensive to Allah naturally. The same thing is true with Jesus, right? Allah is not a fool, he's not a dumbass. You have to have some form of intellect, right? If Allah is testing you, he's testing you to see if you can demonstrate certain aspects of a character that he will be the only one that can exemplify. The same thing is true with the Buddha, right? The same thing is true with Jesus. Hence, when I said to you that if every Christian was a good Christian and every Muslim was a good Muslim and every Buddhist was a good Buddhist, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You are correct.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you said. He would want everyone to be like him.
Naturally, that's what any authority of higher intelligence would want from its subject.
To
Naturally.
be perfect, a perfect reflection, of it.
Exactly. If not, if not, then he cannot be Allah. That's why I don't think anyone goes to hell ultimately, right? And someone asked me on my live show, so what if you were to die and realize that there's a God? I'm like, man, I'm confident that I end up in Jannah no matter what, and I end up in heaven. It doesn't matter which heaven it is. Because whoever God is gonna be is not gonna be a dumbass. I'll be able to reason with him.
Oh my God, Pakaka, you're such a character, man.
Bro,
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
saying, Mushi. I am
Yo, you're
confident.
fire.
I choose to
Yo,
trust
where do
that.
you live,
I,
Pakaka?
I
Where do you
choose.
live?
I'm in California. I choose to trust that even if I don't specific, and I teach people this, right? Even if you don't pick one specific God, be the type of person that can learn from anyone that does something good that you can see. For example, if you're a Christian and a Muslim,
Hmm.
and you're the type of person who likes to thank God for everything that's done for you, what happens when the Muslim does good to you? You're not going to thank the Muslim because you don't think the Muslim is capable of doing good. You're going to thank God. So
Hmm.
that prevents you from seeing the character of God that is in the Muslim, and vice versa.
The
If the
character
Muslim,
of God within the Muslim.
because can anyone be good without Allah? In your opinion?
Yeah, yeah, no, of course not. Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you do good
Yeah.
to me, I shouldn't give Allah credit. I should give you credit. By giving you credit and you
that,
alone,
that makes no sense.
no, think about it. Think about a mirror, right?
I'm thinking, but like that, I'm thinking completely otherwise. You know what I'm
When
saying?
when when you see a reflection in a mirror, who do you blame for what you see? The mirror or what you see?
But quite literally, you just said God is the source. He has to be there in order for it to be there. Then you're saying because he's the source of it, therefore he doesn't matter.
No,
Uh,
he's not.
So,
He's not.
Pakanga, one
He's
sec,
not
one
the
sec,
source
Pakanga.
of it.
I let you speak, bro. I let you speak. Can I just say something? Look,
Okay, go ahead.
if there's a person
Mm-hmm.
that does something good to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's good from him, any good that comes to me is from God ultimately, because God is the source of goodness, right? From our
No, not if
perspective.
God is testing us.
No, no, it depends on the philosophy that you
even
hold.
if that's the case, it's the source of goodness. That's where it's gonna come from.
Like
Do
even if
you
it's a
really think that
test,
Allah is egoistic like that?
It's not
what do
ego.
you
It's
mean?
You
truth.
think Allah is desperate to
Uh,
be acknowledged? Go ahead, Mushi.
oh
I'm
my God.
listening.
No, no. So it's not. Look, it's not that he is desperate to be known. Maybe that is true. Who God knows, Allahu alam. But it's a fact. The fact of the matter is this goodness, because he is goodness. Any good that comes to me is from him, not because he wants to be known. It's just a fact. He doesn't care to be known or not. It's just what it is. Like it's only us attributing him being egotistical from our limited minds. Like it's just a fact. If he's the creator of goodness and good comes to me, that means anyone that does good to me, like Bakanga, you've done good to me. That means you're a facilitator. You're just a facilitator, the messenger. Rumi, he's a philosopher. He described God like this. He's like someone playing a flute, and the music is like I forgot how he worded it, but it was very nice. But we're just facilitators.
Yes, like for example, when we jump up, right? When we jump up and we come down and the earth pulls us towards itself, it's not because the earth is desperate for us, but that we are from the earth, and thus when we jump up, we come down to it,
It's just what it is, man.
It's what
We're
it
not,
is.
That means that life is not a test.
No one said that life is not a test.
Listen, if you're telling me that you cannot give credit to the student for passing the test on his own, you give credit to the teacher for taking the test for the student, guess what? There's a degree to which you need to give credit to the student for being a good student, despite the fact that he learned from the teacher.
We're saying not to give credit, right? But we're saying all credit is also, at the same time, due to God.
No, not all credit is due to God.
Yeah, I'll have a question then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give me one thing that is something on its own in itself other than God.
Say that again.
Yes, give me one example of something that's purely based only upon itself other than God.
The
like
universe.
basically all credit goes to it. It doesn't need credit from anything else.
The universe.
Okay, so you're saying the universe, right,
Mhm.
is fully independent, correct?
Full
Does not-
independence. It doesn't need a higher intelligence because a higher intelligence is not necessary.
Okay. So now, how can your mind influence the universe if it's fully independent?
My mind doesn't influence the universe.
Okay, so right now you're deciding to have the conversation. Right now you're speaking through what? Your intellect. And your intellect, based off your mind, is causing you to speak. So how is your mind causing something upon the universe if the universe is fully independent?
I'm responding to stimulus at the quantum level and also at the physical level to the information that is coming through my phone.
Okay, so right now you're saying that your mind, you thinking right now, has no reason as to why you're speaking all of these words?
The reason is self-determined. Yes, I determine the reason why.
Okay, and who is I? Is I physical or is I mental?
I is physical.
Okay, so I is just physical, really?
Yes.
Okay, so your awareness, what is it? Is it physical as well?
Yes.
Your thoughts, they're physical as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for denying everything about science, metaphysics, almost everything.
It depends.
Because-
It depends on
because-
your understanding of science and physics. Because I am an aircraft engineer. Okay, let me tell you something about the airplane. I am convinced that airplanes are conscious. Listen carefully, son. There is no airplane that sits at the airport that is not geographically located at all times when you turn on the ADARUs. Airplanes have sensors that tell you exactly where it is from the ground, how far it is from the building. When you turn the aircraft, all the computers begin to process. You don't really need to do shit. You sit there and supervise. The human body, the human body inherently is like that as well, right? Now, when information accumulates within the human body, that information itself becomes a command center. Decisions begin to originate from that point of accumulation. That's why a baby, when a baby develops a sense of self, it begins to make decisions around that sense of self. But before it develops a sense of self, it's just responding to stimulus in general.
So Bakanga, this argument that you just made, you made using your mind, right? And through your mind,
Not
which
just
is
using my mind.
through your mind, which is non-physical, unless you want to say your mind is physical.
The mind is the conceptual idea to describe the physical processes that are taking place in my anatomy.
So see, they describe the physical, right? But is a concept physical?
No.
No.
Okay,
Beautiful. Okay.
Exactly.
So thank you. So now you have
It's
something
imaginary.
metaphysical.
It's imaginary.
Concepts. 1 second. Do concepts influence our physical world?
No.
Okay. Now, I want you to remove all scientists, all inventors, everyone who's ever used their imagination, their concepts, their thoughts, doctors, lawyers, everything in the work. You yourself, who apparently is an engineer, mashallah, who uses concepts, math, understanding to influence the world around you, right? Me right now, while I'm speaking, I'm using my mind, my understanding of language and all these different metaphysical, non-physical things to influence the physical world, right?
No, you're not.
Right. Of course I am.
No, you're not.
That's a claim.
So
Again, it's not a claim. Your mind is your mind itself. You're not using it. You're using your brain to send signals to your different body parts. to transfer
Wait,
information. We call that
brother.
process the mind, but you're not necessarily influencing anything outside of you. That's not what's happening.
So, but Tonga, do concepts exist?
No,
Okay. Are concepts immaterial?
the imaginary, yes.
Okay, they're immaterial. Okay. Without the concept of an iPhone, which is literally prior to the existence of the iPhone, without the concept of an iPhone, would an iPhone ever have existed?
Yes, because you can just call it something else.
Whatever, look,
You call
whatever it is that you call it, right? That thing that you will forever call it, is it not dependent upon the concept?
No.
Okay, so you're saying that it's possible. Okay, so what's the difference between an iPhone and a chair?
The fact that the chair communicates with whatever is sitting upon it in its own way due to its specific shape and
Oh, one
place
second.
within space
Wait,
and time.
hold up. A chair is something you sit on?
That's how we choose to say it, yes.
Okay, so the concept of a chair is different than the concept of an iPhone.
It depends on how you view it.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
listen, hold up, check this out. Because it's conceptual. Listen, check this out. Because it's a concept, I can make it take whatever shape or form I want to.
Can I finish my point, please?
Go ahead.
Is there a difference between things and reality? There's
Yes.
some things that are different. Okay, the difference between two different things. How do you know there's a difference?
The shape and the form, the mass
Okay.
and the density. Listen, bro, tonight I did a show, bro, and I literally had to look up the definition of the word reality. Reality means things as they actually exist instead of idealistic or notional conceptions of them. So reality is literally defined as not being concepts or ideas. Look it up. I promise you, look it up.
It doesn't matter what the definition of reality
By
is.
the way,
Yes, it does.
that's not what that
Then we're not
definition is
speaking
saying.
English.
That's your conclusion on the definition.
No, look
Yeah,
up the
For
definition.
example,
Look it up.
for example,
Look it up.
yeah, I just heard it from you, but what you're saying, your conclusion upon what that definition is not what the definition is. The definition is saying it's not dependent upon a particular concept, right? It's something independent of the idea and understanding of it, right? But now I have a question. That understanding within itself intrinsically, right, also exists. It's not saying it doesn't exist. You're saying the ideas and concepts and notions in mental reality doesn't exist, but no. That definition does not exclude mental things exist. And actually, if you were to deny the mind, if you were to say the mind doesn't exist, you only have one tool to do that, the mind. And that's a self-defeating thing. The only way you can ever deny your mind is with your mind. The only way you can ever deny consciousness is with consciousness. It's self-defeating.
Is the mind a thing?
Consciousness is absolute.
No, it's not, bro. Consciousness just means awareness, and awareness is something is generated through sensors. The ability to be aware
that is
of your
perception.
environment.
That is just an idea. That is just a concept that you formulated within your awareness. But
exactly.
Awareness is not just something generated by a brain. Awareness is something in and of itself. And even if that's not the case,
One second. Awareness is not something in of itself.
One second. Brother, you talk about living the way, but you have to express patience as well, right?
No, actually, I don't have to, but I should if I want to, but I don't have to.
Okay, if only if you want to, right? But yes. I assume you want to, right?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, that's fine then.
Totally go ahead.
Right? But nonetheless, I will continue speaking then. So, even if, it's a very mesquite thing, even if you think all mind and all consciousness is purely just something generated from the brain, it is still absolute.
No.
Okay, so you're saying consciousness is not real?
Consciousness is a temporary occurrence, and it's only as real within the confines of the moment. It's not guaranteed to be able to be from moment to moment, and it's not independent. Consciousness is dependent on the physical structure within which the specific sensors are built into, because you cannot have consciousness without sensors.
Okay, prove it.
Human beings, you only know, check this out, you only know you're conscious because your eyes work, your nose works, your sense of touch works, your taste works.
No, absolutely false.
No, hold up.
Nonsense.
No, hold up. Let me ask, just listen. What do you call a man who can't see, who can't smell, who can't taste, who can't hear, and who can't feel pain? How do you call that type of man?
Allow me to answer.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
someone who cannot see is still conscious.
No,
Someone
brother.
who
No,
cannot.
that's
One sec.
not what I
I'm
asked.
answering your question.
No,
I'm
hold up,
answering
bro.
your question.
That's
I'm
not what I
answering
asked.
your
That's not what
question.
I asked. I don't mean
How easy
individually.
is it?
I mean all together.
Yes. Don't worry, I'm getting there. But you're not allowing me to answer. So yes, you don't have to be patient. Of course, you don't have to. But
No, but
if you
don't
want to
change.
respect
Don't
your own
change my
question,
point, though. Don't
if you
change my
want your
point.
answer, if you want your question answered, then you're gonna have to be patient. I'm sorry, this is just a prerequisite.
Okay,
So
can you
if you
do me
want,
a favor to not
if you don't want
misrepresent
to
my
be patient,
position?
here's a problem. You want to live stress-free, right? If you don't want to be patient and you want your question answered, then you're gonna live in stress. You're gonna live in a contradiction.
Check this out. Check
Right?
this out.
So
I don't mind being patient, right?
You don't
Right
want to live in
now,
stress, because the stress-free life is your God, right? Your Allah is your stress-free life.
right
Then
now,
let's live in the stress-free life. And guess what? We have to accept that someone will answer your question and take more than 2 seconds, right? Or you're gonna have to be patient. You can't say no to patience and yes to every single one of your questions. Okay, you're gonna have to have one or the other. So allow me to just answer your question now. You're seeing, right? If someone is blind, right, they still have consciousness. The fact of consciousness has not become false. If someone can't smell, the fact of consciousness has not become false. Seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, all of these are different forms of consciousness. But consciousness in and of itself is not defined by any one of these forms. Now, if you want to say consciousness is defined by all the forms put together, that is also false. Why? Because each one of the forms could be removed and consciousness still remains, meaning that consciousness is not defined by any particular form. Right? So what does that mean? Look up Ibn Sina's floating man experiment. It's literally to say that the fact of consciousness is absolute, and even if all the senses were removed, the fact of consciousness still remains. So for example, a thought, I do not see my thoughts. I don't smell my thoughts. I don't taste my thoughts. I don't feel the thoughts with touch, right? So guess what? I also don't smell the thoughts. But guess what? I still recognize, I'm still conscious of the thoughts, meaning that there is a consciousness beyond physical perception right now as we're having this conversation. Because this conversation, yes, is being taken place physically, but these physical words being expressed are just pointers to a metaphysical reality, which are the concepts, which are the ideas, that the notions that we're aware of that are both independent of the physical senses. Thank you. Go ahead.
Unfortunately for you, bro, you're just going to have to restate your point again, because you didn't even address what I said. I was just trying to point you in the right direction, because I wasn't talking about individual sensors not working. I said to you, what do you call a man who can't see, who can't smell, who can't taste, who can't hear or feel anything at the same time? That's a dead man. The absence of consciousness. Consciousness require receiving and sending signals. If you think about what smelling is you detect your environment, right? By information that comes in through your nose. That information is processed by your brain and interpreted by that brain. And then you use your special anatomy to execute whatever it is that you got from that information. If you can't see anything or smell anything or taste anything or feel anything, you don't know where you are. Consciousness is directly related to being able to be aware of your surrounding and environment. It's a phenomenon. It's not a thing per se that is independent of anatomy and physiology. Hence, a rock is not conscious. Hence, a mountain is not conscious.
How do you know?
Because they don't demonstrate properties consistent with the behavior of conscious things. Bro, let me tell you something, okay?
How do you know?
One thing
How do you know?
one thing that my religious
How do you
brothers
know?
and sisters fail to understand. Hold on, I'll show you.
About
Language
religion, how do you know?
language is a prerequisite for understanding. You can't think in a non-human language.
That's
Right?
just false.
Bro, you can think in a non-human language?
Of course, yes.
You're full of shit. I have to say that. Forgive me, but I had to say that. It's impossible for you to think in a non-human language. It's like you saying you can speak French if you never learned French.
Because that must just be that you're limited to the confines of human language. But human languages
Again,
are just tools to allow for your thought. But your
Yeah, yeah.
thought does not necessarily need human languages.
so when you were thinking about what you just said right now, you didn't think about it in English before you said it?
Okay, now I want you to learn how to think in the human languages first before saying that nothing can be thought of
I speak 9
outside of
languages
human
in
language.
total.
Yes, yes. Yeah, great. So now let's use the logic within the language. Now, just because I'm using human language to think, that does not mean there cannot be any thinking without human languages.
Literally,
Right?
that's what thinking is.
No,
You cannot think without a language.
without a human language.
Yes,
Yes, you can.
it's impossible.
You can.
Babies, one sec. Babies, you mentioned the example of babies, right? Being
Mm-hmm,
able to walk without
mm-hmm,
understanding any language, right?
mm-hmm.
And you said that they know, right? They have knowledge, right? Irrespective of it being, human language. So, does this not go? Like, isn't your own points going against you in this case, or no?
No,
Maybe I'm
no,
wrong. I don't
no, you are wrong.
know. Okay.
Because babies respond to stimulus. They're not using brain power. Their brain is not thinking, bro. Even physiologically, their brain is not even fully developed.
That doesn't mean they're not using anything. Okay,
That's
take their brains out
exactly
and see
what
what
it
happens.
means.
Take their brains out and see what happens.
If you cannot take their brains out without disrupting the rest of the body, because they need the rest of the body for the brain to develop, right?
Oh, so
Okay,
it's
look,
almost like
bro,
they're
yo,
using brain
I have to
power.
mediate the discussion. I just want to mediate it. You know what I mean? Do you guys agree or disagree with this statement? Because I think this is the crux of the matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Is consciousness dependent upon your senses?
Yes.
Okay, Hadi, you're saying no, right?
Certainly not.
Okay, one sec. Bro, I'm biased towards Hadi, obviously.
No, that's
Which is
fine,
why I have to
Mushi.
show-
I get
Which
it.
is why I have to show Bakanga more love and credit, so he needs to speak first. Bakanga, please explain, brother, why you believe what you believe. Please only use logic, though. No emotional arguments, like you've been doing the whole time. So, like you've been using logic up to this
No.
point, so only logic. Go ahead.
If you look at our medical system and what we've accomplished medically, trying to understand the human body, it is statistically proven that we have increased our lifespan simply by studying the human body, right? Not only have we studied the human body, but we've reverse engineered a lot of what makes the human body the human body. Like a camera is designed to work just like your eyes work. Speakers are designed to work just like your ears work. All the machines that we build, we are slowly taking it to autonomous functionality, self-driving cars. What's a self-driving car? A car that can think for itself, right? What's a computer? A memory that can store information, right? And wirelessly communicate that information. Brother, we have discovered in the process of studying the human body that it's impossible for humans to be conscious were it not for the specific sensors. Your biggest sensor is entirely your skin. That's why you can detect temperature. That's something which is so minuscule. And then your nose, your eyes, your ears, those are all sensors. Without those specific apparatus, a person is considered disabled. If your eyes don't work, you're disabled. That means you are less conscious of where you are. Hence, you need someone to guide you. If your nose don't work, you are less conscious. If you can't taste, you are less conscious. If your ears don't work, you are less conscious. Consciousness is a phenomenon.
No, Bakanga, I would agree with you that if you don't taste and you don't see, you are conscious of less things in reality, right? But you are still conscious. You just are conscious of less things. Your claim, right? Your claim is this. You're claiming that consciousness is dependent upon these things.
Mhm.
All you have proven is that without these things, you are less conscious, but that there's still consciousness in of itself. You know that you exist, right?
Check this
A
out.
disabled
What happens
person
when you
knows that he
eliminate all those things? Then
Yeah,
you
so
die.
here's the no, you don't, Bakanga. Look, pay attention. Look, if I remove my, hearing, my seeing, my nose, my mouth, everything, I will still know I exist.
No, sir. You wouldn't.
No problem, Bakanga. No problem. You're the one that's making the claim that consciousness is dependent upon these sensories, right?
It's not a claim.
If
That's
the
a fact.
No, this is okay, no problem. Facts
No,
need to
this
be
is a huge
substantiated
problem.
with evidence, right? Since you're very scientific, bring me empirical evidence or deductive, no problem, as to why your fact is true.
By
Have
the
you
very
put in a human in God's
definition,
eyes and huh?
by the very definition of the word. That's why I said to you, what is consciousness in English? What's the definition?
Yeah, you said that consciousness is awareness, right? So how does awareness automatically entail physicality?
Because what's awareness is necessary for physical things to be able to move from one place to another without being
Oh,
guided.
so awareness now affects the physical world?
No, awareness is necessary. It's a phenomenon. It doesn't affect the physical world.
Okay, so redefine what is awareness then? Because in
Check
your
this out.
definition
This
of
is the
awareness was
definition of
Is
moving.
consciousness,
awareness
right?
physical? Wait, Bakanga, is awareness physical to you?
No. Just like just like just like temperature is not physical, right?
Wait,
Temperature is
what?
just you detecting.
Wait, Bakanga, so you believe in an immaterial that everything depends upon?
No, nothing. It's not that something depends on it. It's a phenomenon. You know what a phenomenon is?
Yeah, no
Just
problem.
means
This
it's real.
phenomena of awareness, right? Without it, would you be able to know what you're
It's
seeing?
it's idealistic.
Yeah. If I remove your awareness, would you be aware of anything?
If you remove my awareness and you just take away the word, right? I'll still be able to tell my environment, even if you don't call it awareness.
Well, no problem. Wait,
We're not,
brother.
oh my God.
Consciousness, right? Your awareness.
No, check this out.
Awareness.
Can I read the definition?
You're not being honest. You were being honest earlier. You're not being honest now. You're saying that if I remove your awareness, you'll still be aware of your reality.
Yes.
Awareness allows you to be aware of your reality.
No, awareness is a product of my five senses. So if
Even if that's the
you
case,
cannot remove my awareness without removing my five senses.
Right, but you knowing that it's a product of your five senses, you know this, right?
Idealistically.
Yeah, you're aware of this phenomena.
Idealistically, yes.
Yes,
So I have to
yes.
imagine it.
oh my God. Okay, Bakanga, give us your definition of awareness again, please.
This is not my definition. This is according to the Oxford Dictionary, okay?
Okay.
Consciousness
Oxford
is the
Dictionary, what
state
is it?
of being awake and aware of one's surrounding.
Okay.
The example
now-
it gives is that she failed to regain consciousness and died 2 days later. So that shows you that in English, death is the lack of consciousness. Then similar words are wakefulness, awareness, the awareness or perception of something by a person. The fact of awareness by the mind of itself and the world. That's the third definition. So those are all the definitions of consciousness. Simply awareness. But the awareness is a phenomenon that is contingent on your anatomy.
No, that's not in the definition. I don't know what you're reading. I don't know what
How do you
definition
know
you're
this?
reading.
The state
Where do you
of
come
being
up with this?
awake.
Yes, awake, aware.
What's awake?
They're using the word.
What's awake?
Yes, to be awake, fundamentally speaking, points back to being aware. So the definition you're giving is circular, and I'm not saying that's a problem, by the way, because guess what? Awareness, to define it further, all definitions presuppose that there is awareness, right? You cannot have a definition if there's no awareness, right? So awareness is something that is a simple definition. It has no particular connotations, no conditions. What you're doing is you're trying to condition awareness with your own awareness as much as possible. So you're limiting yourself. You want this big potential.
Do you understand that some things are imaginary?
But awareness, one second. I let you speak for a very long time. So awareness, what you're doing is you're confining your awareness with your own awareness. So you're trying to limit yourself as much as possible. But awareness, right, fundamentally speaking, is an unconditioned thing. And every time you try to define it, you used it in the very definition. Now, even the definitions you gave to be awake, to be knowing, all these different things, these don't even necessitate in the very definition itself that awareness comes from the physical material reality. That's an entailment that you made based off your assumptions. Now, let me give you just a straight up, and literally it's in the comments, knowledge or perception of a situation or fact, right? So knowledge of a fact, For example, the fact that there is awareness, I'm aware of it. So I'm aware of my awareness. That is very fundamental to the nature of awareness. And that is true irrespective of physical reality. Awareness is aware, fundamentally speaking, and awareness cannot fail to be aware. You making it sound like awareness is like this cloud that comes and goes willy-nilly with your own awareness, which is funny, right? It's just fundamentally contradicting because awareness has to be aware in and of itself, fundamentally speaking. Now, every example you gave, the human biology, the this, the that, the potato, whatever, all of these case scenarios, none of that disproves anything to do with awareness being immaterial. These are just studying physical phenomenon. And the way you study physical phenomenon is with your awareness, right? You know of the physical phenomenon, you know of biology, you know of medicine through your awareness. So fundamentally speaking, awareness in its definition is not physical, right? Which you already admitted, and it affects the physical world. Right now, your awareness, the people in the comments typing, their awareness are affecting the physical world self-evidently. And to deny this is to deny your self-evident experience. It's like denying the physical world itself. Go ahead, brother.
Yo, it's such a funny comment. Sorry. These
You,
comments are
you
hilarious.
said that awareness is knowledge or perception of a situation, right?
Or fact.
Or fact. Bro, what's knowledge? You know that if that's the case, that means that computers are aware because computers have software and that's knowledge. Are you claiming that computers are aware?
Depends on what you mean by knowledge.
Nah, knowledge is knowledge, bro. Come on, information. Are you saying
Okay, if you want to say knowledge is no, you can't
computers
just be
are
like
aware?
knowledge is knowledge, bro. Like that's not enough.
Are you
Generally speaking, if you mean
that
knowledge,
computers
if
are
there's
aware?
people with knowledge, oh my god. Yes, I'm answering your question. You asked the question, right? So knowledge, there's two types. There's knowing, so you have the sense and the perception, an actual perception. Then whether computers are aware or not, or AI can become aware or not, that's a whole different thing, right?
Bro, knowledge is knowledge, bro. Come on,
But
Hadi.
in essence, knowledge is referring to awareness. So it's awareness and recognition, true recognition. Now, what is recognition? Well, that's up to debate. But what I would define it as is awareness. It goes back to it. Awareness is recognition. To be aware is to recognize, right? It goes back to the same thing.
Now, you said a whole bunch of nothing, bro. Knowledge is knowledge, okay? The knowledge that you have inside your brain that makes you do the things that you do is not different from what AI does when AI does what it does. For example, the knowledge in the phone that allows Siri to recognize my voice. And listen, intelligence is defined as the ability to acquire knowledge and apply skill. Siri has the ability to acquire knowledge and apply skills because Siri can hear my voice. Siri can then respond with a pre-programmed information and respond appropriately based on what I want to know. Even take me to whatever website I want to know. So by your definition of awareness, machines are aware. Why? Because we build hardware. You get it? Software is useless without hardware. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You get it?
Wait, so Bakanda? Okay. Can I say something? I just want to understand your view. You know,
Go ahead.
I'm just drawing image. I'm drawing some images. I want to make sure it's right. Hadi is saying that
Come on, Mushi, you're good. Get it? What's he saying? Tell me. I get what he's saying.
okay, one sec, Bakanga. Sorry, I'm just thinking about something important. Okay, so Bakanga, let's assume what you're saying is true and see where the rabbit hole goes.
Okay.
Can I do this for fun or no? Okay.
Sure.
Consciousness, and I don't want to, I don't want to put words in your mouth. This is not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness and awareness is dependent upon your senses, right?
Upon physical reality, yes.
Reality, sorry, yes. Your senses is just like a facilitator. It's like a gate. Like it just
It's a
helps you
sense of.
understand.
It's a sense of.
Which is
Yeah.
reality too, actually. Yeah, okay. That means reality is the cause of your consciousness, ultimately.
Thank you. So, yes. So, consciousness depends on the physical world, and consciousness is
On reality.
idealistic.
Yes. Okay, one sec. So, in order for something to be a cause of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
it must not lack it in any respect. I'll give you an example, okay? I can't be the giver of a gift if I lack a gift, right? I can't give you something that I lack. If reality in its totality, reality, existence, is the cause of consciousness, that means existence itself cannot lack it if it's the giver of it. Do you get it? Would you say that that's fair based off what you believe?
No, because it's not an act of giving.
Forget giving, bro. It is the cause. And if it's the cause, it cannot lack what it causes. A cause, and by the way, causing is a form of giving, but forget giving. Cause and effect. The cause gives rise to the effect, right? The effect cannot have properties or something that the cause doesn't at all. If the cause is the cause, then it cannot lack what the effect possesses. Otherwise, you're saying something came from complete nothingness, like random, like
Okay.
where did awareness, consciousness come from? If it wasn't, it
Actually,
must have come from reality, no?
actually, that is why there is a difference between reality and ideas, because ideas do come from like nothing. You conjure them up, like things that don't exist, you make them exist, like Santa Claus, Superman, right? Like, in
This is
fact,
separate discussion. I
I
don't want to
can
get into that.
no
Yeah, I
no
don't
no
want to
no
get because
no no, no.
Bakanga, if we get into that, who cares? Let's just agree with what you're saying. We're
Right.
not talking about this. We're about awareness and consciousness, right?
Mhm.
If reality is the cause of consciousness, then reality itself is the cause of consciousness. It cannot lack consciousness in any respect. It is causing it. Think, bro. I'm aware. You're aware. We're talking, bro, and we're talking because there's reality. So how can reality lack it if it's the cause of it?
Okay.
Do you not see what I see? Like, are we not?
No, I think your problem is a misunderstanding of the definition of the word reality. Reality
Okay,
says
what do you mean when you say reality? It's
it's not
okay.
what I mean. I go based on dictionary definitions. So reality is things as they are, rather than notional or idealistic perceptions of them. Let me actually just
Okay,
read it, right?
forget.
Let me read it.
Okay, no problem, bro.
Let me read
Okay,
it.
one second.
Hold up.
Is there something that is the cause of consciousness? Something. Forget reality. Is there something that's the cause of consciousness?
Consciousness is not cause as much as it's a consequence. So the intent,
Consequence of what?
it's a consequence of the
Of what?
ability of a sensor to receive information and store that
Right.
information. We
Exactly.
call that phenomenon consciousness. We choose to call it like that.
Exactly. Yes, Bakanga. But listen, bro. Awareness and consciousness, if it's a consequence, to say consequence is synonymous with effect. It's the effect of something, you know? Let's just keep the word consequence. It's okay. If it's the consequence of a thing, that means something is responsible for your consciousness. It's a consequence. Is it not?
No.
If something is a consequence, that means that its existence is dependent. It exists under the condition that the circumstances exist. If the circumstances are that you can see, you have a mouth, you have, you can, then you have consciousness, right? So
Right.
your consciousness is now dependent. You only have it under the condition that these variables are true. So that means it's an effect of a cause. If these are true, then you have it. If these are not true, then you don't have it. This is your
Okay. You know
philosophy,
what?
no?
Yes, let's go. Yes, you put it good. I like that. Yes.
Okay. I, by the way, don't agree with that, but I want to understand your views, Okay. Without your, the physical, right? The sensory, you don't have consciousness. Okay. That means consciousness is an effect of a thing. Without this thing, you don't have it.
Yes.
That thing cannot lack it, that means. It cannot lack consciousness if it's the cause of consciousness.
Hence, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another, right? So the consciousness,
Okay.
check this out, check this out.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Like sperm and egg come from your father and your mother. That chemical reaction leads to the forming of your anatomy. By the time your body forms and you regain some form of consciousness or awareness of your environment, guess what? You are being nurtured by previously conscious beings whose time is soon expiring. So there's a delay of time, right? To where if your parents make it far enough to give you a head start, then you can go on your own. And by the time your time is getting over, you reproduce yourself. That is how it happens. So yes, it's not so much that the thing that gives consciousness has consciousness itself. No, it is within an environment of other conscious beings. That's what we observe. That's reality as it is. So reality, in the dictionary, by the way, the word says the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. The example says he refuses to face reality, the state or the quality of having existence or substance. So reality is something that has substance, tangible. If it's not tangible, it's not real.
Yeah, but then you define tangible as something that you can experience, and if you can't experience it, then it's not tangible.
No, something you can touch.
Yeah, you can
Something that is
experience, right?
available to your five senses. Yes, pretty much.
Yes, you can, but yeah, I respectfully, bro, I think this is very arrogant because perhaps there is a thing that resides within reality that is out of my reach. And for me to say that it doesn't exist because I don't experience it is very ignorant and arrogant.
Well,
What does my knowledge of a thing have anything to do with its reality?
so check this out, right? That's why the definition says the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them. You are saying that, okay, just because I can't see something, it doesn't mean it's not real, right? That's idealistic.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't see it is because it's not real. If it was real, then you'll be seeing it. So the moment that it actually makes itself real, then you'll be able to say that, okay, this is what it is. Now, you could build tools that allow you to perceive it,
But that doesn't mean it didn't exist, Bakanga.
but you will not, it doesn't mean that it exists either without
Yeah,
evidence.
exactly. Exactly. But Bakanga, the point that I'm making is this, okay? Yes, we need evidence to know if something exists or
Mhm.
not. The question isn't, I'm not rejecting evidence, my friend. What we're discussing now is what is evidence, right? You're professing that evidence is necessary, but what we're discussing is if the lacking of evidence is evidence in of itself. In other words, if there is no evidence of something, does that count as evidence that it doesn't exist? I say absolutely not. I can give countless examples as to why that's the case. I think you agree with me though, no?
If
Or do
there
you
is
disagree?
if there is no evidence that something exists, and the
Then
claim
it
of
can
that
still
thing's
exist.
and the claim of that thing's existence contradicts what already has been proven to exist, then that thing cannot exist.
No, you added a second one. Don't add. We're step by step. Do you agree that if there is no evidence of something, it can still exist?
No.
Okay.
Do you know
There was
why?
no
Do,
evidence.
do, do you
Why?
know
Yeah, go
do you
ahead.
know why? Because I'm a
Sure, go ahead.
realist. I'm a realist. I look at the world or the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to my idealistic or notional idea of what is. I don't spend my time being idealistic or notional about things. I see things as they are. I don't need to
Yeah, but
imagine. I don't need
look,
to imagine
I
something that's not there. If it becomes there, it will need to manifest itself for me to acknowledge that it's there or not. If not, it's not there. So when
yeah, so
and the reason why it's important to be realistic in 2023, bro, is because guess what? If my religion tells me that you as an LGBT person you deserve to die, what am I supposed to do?
yeah, so I look, I don't believe that, but just please, Bakanga, give me I just wanna, you know, I know that you're professing, right? That you're a realist, right? This is what you're professing. However, the philosophy that you hold is contradictory to that which you profess. It's like someone telling me they believe in one God, but when I ask them, what do you mean by one God? They start describing multiple things. This is not one God. Although you're professing you're a realist, it's everything other than real. I'll give you my reasons as to why I believe this, okay? You're saying this, that if there's no evidence of something, it doesn't exist. Now lived my life, bro, in a way where when someone tells me something, I don't reject it. If you notice, I just accept and I see where it goes, because I believe that the truth is so powerful. No matter what you believe, you come back to the truth. So I just accept it. The issue I have now is once I've accepted what you're saying, you contradict your own beliefs. I'll give you an example.
That's why I said to you not to. That it's not about agreeing or disagreeing for me.
No, it's your own beliefs, bro. It's not even mine anymore. Look, you're saying this. You're saying a blind man, apples don't exist to a blind man, and so they don't exist.
If he's never
With this
touched it,
line of,
if he's never interacted with apples at all, it doesn't
no
exist to him.
problem. I've already accepted it, brother. Here's the problem I have now. I am here telling you I don't believe Bakanga exists.
Hmm.
How can you then say that you exist?
Because
my belief.
you are saying with your words that Bakanga doesn't exist, but with your action, hold up, bro, hold up, check this out. But with your actions, you're validating my existence by giving me information and expecting me to respond.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Bakanga, you know what, Bakanga? I'm gonna share
and
something
there is
with you.
577 weaknesses, Moshi.
Boy, someone just said in the comments, your belief does not trump facts, Moshi. Exactly. The belief that the earth is flat doesn't mean that it's going to be flat. The belief that the earth is a square doesn't mean it's a square. The belief that God exists doesn't mean he necessarily exists.
The belief that the earth is a sphere doesn't mean that it's a sphere.
Exactly.
The belief that God exists doesn't mean God exists.
Exactly. I agree with you. You don't just because you believe something doesn't make it true, right? I agree with you. The problem is this. You're saying that a blind person believes that apples don't exist. Therefore, they don't exist. With this line of reasoning, right? You have to then concede that, you know what? Forget me. There's somebody right now that lives in China that's never met you, that doesn't know you exist. My question for you is, to that man that lives in China, do you exist?
No.
So you don't exist?
No, I don't exist. Now check this out. Not to that man in China who doesn't know me. Mushi, I have a question for you. I have a very important question for you, Mushi.
Bro, this is crazy.
I have a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Brother Mushi, how do you guys say it in your Muslim world again? Habibi? Is it Habibi?
Ana ismi Mushtaba.
Okay, I don't know how to say that much. How would you prove to me that something which doesn't exist actually in fact doesn't exist? How would you do?
Yeah, if it contradicts logic.
Okay, check this out.
So for example, a triangle, something that's defined as a shape with only 3 sides, cannot have 7. Therefore, a triangle with 7 sides does not exist nowhere in the universe.
Check this out then. Check this out, okay?
Yeah.
Is Allah Almighty?
Yeah.
Does Allah need anything?
Wait, here it comes. Yeah. Sorry, he doesn't need anything.
Does Allah have any wants?
What do you mean by wants?
Just another way of saying needs, but wants, like specific things that he desires, that he wants.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay, check this out. Does Allah know everything?
What do you mean by no?
Omniscience.
But aseity?
Omniscient. So is he all knowing?
Yeah, he's all knowing.
Bro,
because he knows of himself.
Mushi, do you agree with me that it's logical to conclude that nobody creates and makes something without a reason, right? For example, if I make a car, I make that car for a reason. Nothing is made for no reason. No one makes anything unnecessarily, right?
Let's just assume this is true. Then what?
No, I'm asking you if you agree with me, because it's not an assumption. Because unless you can show me anything that anyone makes without a specific reason, then
Brother, I'm gonna spit on this wall. I'm gonna spit on this wall right now, and make some crazy, for no reason. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you would only do it to prove a point, right?
Right. But maybe I end this live. bro, I don't. I've been downtown, bro. I've seen people do some crazy shit for no reason. Like,
So my
muftis in
exactly,
the area.
but it's not that they did it for no reason. It's just that their reason doesn't make sense to you. But
It's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I agree. Then what?
what reason would an almighty being that needs nothing, that wants nothing, that is complete, what reason would such a being have to create anything? It
If
makes
I
no
don't know
logical
the
sense.
reason,
It makes no logical
one sec.
sense.
No, one sec, Bakanga. Don't say this. Don't be ignorant. I just gave you an example of me being downtown and seeing people do things with no reason. You told me perhaps there is a reason, you just don't know the reason, right?
Because a
So
person
now, one
cannot
sec,
do
Bakanga.
something without a
Bakanga, one sec.
reason.
In the same sense, just because you don't know the reason, that doesn't mean that there isn't a reason. That's number one. And number two, there is a reason. I can tell it to you right now. Want me to tell it to you or no?
You heard my question, right?
I'll tell you the reason
It
right
is
now.
illogical to claim that anyone will make
Why is it
something
illogical?
without a reason.
Why is it illogical?
Because
No, he
creating
does have a
is
reason.
always
He does
out
have
of
a reason.
necessity. Creation is always out of necessity.
It is out of necessity. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I
So
agree.
why
It
does
is.
an almighty, all-knowing being that needs nothing have any need to create? It makes no logical sense. Allah wouldn't exist. Allah will only create because He
No.
needs creation to do something that He can't do. Nobody creates something to do something for them that they can already do without that thing that they created. If I create a shovel, it's so that the shovel can do for me what I can't do. If I create an airplane, it's so the airplane can do for me what I can't do, right? If Allah created human beings, it's so that human beings could do what Allah cannot do. So that will make Allah not worthy of our worship because Allah created us to be better than Himself or to do something better than Him.
Okay, so Bakanga, when I say that creation is necessary, I don't mean it in the sense that God has a gun to his head and that he has to create us, otherwise he dies. This is not at all what I mean, you know? I mean creation is necessary in the sense that it's a necessary entailment of a necessary being because he necessarily, he has a will and anything he does is necessary. So if he is necessary and his will is necessary, then everything after his will is necessary, okay? This is the first thing. That's what I mean, just to clarify. The second thing is when it comes to the reason, just because you don't know the reason doesn't mean there isn't one. If I say the reason is because of himself, he is the reason. How is that illogical?
That is
Answer this.
illogical because
Where's the contradiction with me saying he is
if
the
He needs
reason?
to create because of Himself, that shows you
Yeah.
that He lacks something within Himself that makes Him want to bring something new which He didn't have
Wait,
before.
Makanga, I'm gonna dissect your this is very deep, bro. If he creates because of himself, that means he lacks something. Prove
Yes,
this to me, Bakanga, and you win $1,000. Go.
because if He creates because of Himself, why did He create Adam out of the clay? Was he already the clay? Why did He have to make Adam with a short lifespan? Why did He have to make Adam to have sex? Does Allah have sex? Does Allah give birth? Can Allah do that? Can Allah squat over a toilet? Can He swim in the water? He can't do that. So it doesn't matter how small it might be. Allah still can't do it, just like you can swim in the water with a shark, right? So if He created all of these things that we do, that we clearly do it out of intelligence, and yet He can't do it, yeah, Mushi. I think Allah lacked something, and He could have only gotten that thing by making Adam and human beings.
So one sec, let me get this straight. You're saying that God is lacking because he can't use the washroom?
Because He created something that could do something that He can't do.
So one sec. I'm really trying to understand what you're saying. Because an unlimited being, an all-powerful being created, you and I, and we're able to use the washroom, because we're able to use the washroom and he can't, that's why he's lacking?
If He was unlimited, He wouldn't have to create us. He's
How
clearly
do you know
limited.
that?
He's clearly limited. He's limited by His inability to be flesh and blood. He can't experience life as flesh and blood because guess what? He can't be. Only me and you can do it for Him. because he can't do it
No,
himself.
no. Okay, one sec, Bakanga. My knowledge of me being human comes from my senses, right? For example, I can see things, right? God doesn't have eyes, right? He doesn't see like this, right? Does that mean he can't see what I'm seeing? This is like another way. Does that mean he's limited? He can't see what I see? Like, is he limited? No.
If he could feel and
One
see
sec.
what you see without you, he wouldn't make you. He needs you.
Just one sec, Bakanga. One sec, Bakanga, please.
Mhm.
He doesn't need me, bro.
Then he
He has
wouldn't.
given
He
you,
wouldn't have made
Bakanga.
you.
You know what it is, Bakanga? Look. Here's the real test, bro. He has given you everything, and your test is to drop everything for him. It's a dance. But anyways, Bakanga, if I see something, I'm looking at something right now, okay? God doesn't see with his with my eyes. He doesn't have eyes like mine to see, right? So then what we mean when we say he sees and he's all hearing and all knowing and all seeing, it just means that he does not lack the knowledge of what I see. In other words, he
All
knows.
experience.
He knows. One sec, Bakanga, please, bro, please pay attention.
Mhm.
It means he knows, he has the knowledge of what it means to be a human. He is not ignorant of what humans feel. He is not ignorant of what we see. He is not ignorant of what we experience. The error that you're making is Sorry, it cut out. The error that you're making is this. You're saying this. In order for him to see, in order for him to know what we see, he must see it. In order for him to hear what we hear, he must have ears. Why can't it be the case that he is not ignorant of what you see and what you hear and what you experience without experiencing it? Perhaps he's the experience that you're experiencing, Bakanga. Maybe he's the experience that you're experiencing. And so he does not lack himself in any respect.
Again, that would still make him not almighty, not all knowing, because, like I said, nobody makes a tool without something that they need to do with that tool that only that tool can do. Look at the complexity of a human being based on your religious perspective, right? You like to claim that you have a brain, you can think, you have hands, you can make things, right?
Yeah.
Allah
I don't
wouldn't,
think I can make
Allah
anything.
wouldn't have made you the way you are unless he absolutely needed to, because Allah will not be the type of being that does shit for no reason. Allah is not a being that does things based on vanity. He will have to be the most efficient form of intelligence. Efficiency,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So what's more efficient? What's more simple, you know?
Just don't do
He did
anything that you don't
something.
need.
Yeah. He does look. He does everything. The reason is that he did it. He's the explanation to his actions. You're saying that that's an issue. When I ask you why that's an issue, you give me examples of things that are baseless. Like, it doesn't... Like, even now, if I ask you, what's the issue with him being the explanation to the effect? What's wrong with that?
That's illogical. Then he cannot. You cannot. The cause cannot be the same as the effect, bro. Then it's no longer cause and effect.
Yes, no problem. What's the issue with me saying he's the reason?
If he's the reason, then he cannot be the thing for which he is the reason. Come on now, use your brain.
Why not?
Because then you don't have any motion. Nothing is moving. There's no cause and effect. The cause cannot be the effect. Then you don't have a cause and effect.
I'm not saying the cause and the effect are identical. I'm saying God is the cause, and the reason why he did the effect is because of himself.
Okay,
What's the problem with
yes,
that?
but he wouldn't need to do anything because of himself, because he's complete within himself. He lacks
he's not
nothing.
doing it,
He
bro.
lacks
He's not
nothing.
doing No, exactly. He lacks nothing.
There is nothing within himself that will give him the urge or the need or
There is
desire
nothing
to
within
make something
himself,
outside
Bakanga.
himself.
Bakanga, you're not getting it. There is nothing within himself, period. He is himself. He is the explanation. Do you understand what I see God as? He is not what you think I believe.
Listen.
There's nothing in him, bro.
If that's how you see God, if you see God as the explanation, but there is nothing that needs to be explained without need.
As that which is explained in its
Explanations don't come about without necessity. When something needs to be explained, it's because there is a lack of knowledge.
where did this lot like where like
Think
who
about it. What is
I what
explaining? When you're explaining something,
where did you come up with this stuff, bro? Like who
it's
told you
it's
this?
in the
Who lied
very
to you?
definition of the word explain. Why do you want to explain? Listen, bro, we ask questions in multiple ways, right? We ask questions based on how, what, who,
Even if that's
where,
true, one
and
sec.
why. Why will Allah
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
but
do
Kanga,
it?
even yeah, but pay attention. Look, even if that's true, which it is, okay? You asking why is not a deficiency within him. It's a deficiency within you. You lack the knowledge, which is why you are asking. How does that even make sense that he is deficient in any respect? I am telling you that he is the cause of everything, and he is the explanation for himself, right? That's it. It ends there.
If he is
How?
complete and all powerful within himself, he wouldn't need to cause anything. He needed a reason to cause. And that
You are
reason to
you
cause,
guys
if that
arguing.
reason is himself, that's a circular. You end up without cause and effect, right? Because
It's not circular. No.
the effect cannot be the cause of itself.
I'm not saying it is the cause of itself, bro.
Do you get what I'm
Look,
saying, bro?
I think the problem is this, okay? I believe that in reality there can be something that exists necessarily through itself and explains itself. That's what I believe. It's not circular because I'm not saying that there are two things that depend on one another, right? I'm saying there's one thing that exists that is itself and that's it, right?
So let me ask you a question. Why can't that be the universe?
Because the universe is, bro, the universe is, okay, it depends. Are you B theory or A theory? Do you believe the universe is changing?
I don't believe that the universe is changing. Check this out. Let me explain to you.
It's okay, no problem. I think we're on
It
the same
won't. It
page.
will
I
only take
actually
20
believe the
seconds. I
universe is eternal.
promise.
I believe the universe is eternal, Bakanga. We can just cut to the chase.
Okay. Hold on. What part of the universe is eternal?
It's and what do you mean? What part?
Okay.
The
There's
universe
there's
itself.
three there's three pillars that make the universe, right? Space means the area, the dimension within which all things are contained. Space, and then you have time. Then you have matter, which is the things that occupy that space within the universe, right? And then when those things move from one point to another, when matter moves from one point to another, that rate of movement, we call it speed. It travels a specific distance. It's time. Distance divided by that speed is time, right? So that's how we get time. So what's moving within the universe, what's changing is matter. Matter keeps changing from one state to another within a vast, endless, eternal expanse.
Yeah. So Bakanga, what? Look, first of all, space and time, like to separate the two is typically you put it together. Space time, like it's one, you know. But even if you separate them, it doesn't matter. What I mean by the universe is eternal, bro, is I mean that it always is and always was. Like,
Exactly. So it doesn't
yeah,
need to be intelligent.
yeah, no, it doesn't need to be intelligent.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
So it doesn't even need to be powerful.
no, of course not.
Exactly. You know what that means? That means that God is unnecessary. A
No, it
creator is
does not.
unnecessary.
No, it does not.
Yes, that's what it means. You don't need a creator.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Do you want me to explain why?
Oh,
Do
come
you have a
on.
paper and pencil? Write this down. Write this down so you can remember it. So you can study it. I want you to study what
I
I'm
have a
saying.
photographic memory. I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. The issue with your line of reasoning is that you're presupposing or assuming that anything that is eternal is independent. Although it's the case, right, that anything independent is eternal, it's not the case that anything that's eternal is independent and needs nothing. Uh, something can be eternal and dependent and need another.
Okay,
I can give you many.
so can I interject real quick?
Yes, of course.
Is it possible that the universe is the eternal thing, which is independent and needs nothing else, and God
Uh,
is the eternal thing that
Impossible.
depends on the universe?
No, impossible.
Do you know why I think that that's possible?
It's a logical contradiction, but you can go ahead. It's okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
carry
think
on.
that what we see as humanity is the eternal intelligence that depends on the eternal nature of the universe. That's why we have
Yeah,
the ability to multiply.
I just saw it. It's a contradiction. It's a contradiction.
It's not a contradiction.
I can prove to you like if
Go
someone
ahead.
told me that something's a contradiction, I'd love to hear them out, right? Like, okay, if something's independent, it must not depend upon anything other than itself. Do you agree?
Say that again.
If something's independent, then it cannot depend upon anything other than itself. Do you agree?
No, I disagree.
So you're saying something can be independent and dependent?
If something is independent
Then it
and
cannot
yet
depend upon.
hold up, and if something is independent on itself, it's still dependent. So for something to truly be independent, it depends on nothing, not even itself.
No problem. Exactly. Pay attention to what I'm saying, Bakanga. If something's independent, that means it does not depend upon anything.
Right, not even itself.
Okay, great. No problem. It's not dependent anyways. Okay. If we posit the non-existence of the three criterias in which you mentioned in respect to the universe, which I believe was space, time, and matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be the universe?
Say that again.
If we posit the non-existence of the three necessary criterias for the universe, would the universe exist?
You can't do that. It will be impossible.
If we were to posit the non-existence of the three main criterias for the universe, would the universe exist?
Space always exists, and the universe will always exist.
Right. Okay. Okay. Is space identical to the universe? Or
Space,
is the universe
space is the different dimensions that contain all matter, and that's the universe.
exactly.
Check this out.
Yes,
Check
exactly.
this out, right? Actually, I have a way to fix this.
Please, bro, because
Go ahead.
my phone's at 6%. It's probably gonna die once it hits 3.
Okay.
And okay, look, just please, because I'm just gonna because it's 4:20 in the morning, bro. Bro, I actually really love talking to you, Bakanga, by the way. Like, sincerely, like.
Look, it's good when we talk to each other without egos, but I like the ego games though.
Yeah,
you
fun,
on your silly Muslim tricks, right? Yeah, music. You like to. I guess you don't call it music. How do you call that thing again? The chanting, the prayer thing that you guys do.
What do you mean, like the Quran?
No, you like to play something. You said to me one time that it wasn't music.
Yeah, it's not music. What's the Quran?
Yeah, that. Yeah, you on your silly Quran. When you want to troll, you just play it, huh?
This is actually not even Quran. This is just a random instrumental. Yo, Bakanga, though, seriously, bro, one thing I really like about our discussions, and I think you mentioned this to me in our private messages, it's like, it's not about who's right in this case. We win, Bakanga, if we can end this conversation with us being friends, with us having a good vibe, and for 600 people to see that you can have different beliefs and you can still have reasonable discussions without fighting. That's where we win.
Mushi, the more I fight you, it's probably because it's the more friendly we are, especially if we don't annihilate each other. You see, the beautiful thing about the beautiful thing about my friendship with you is that I don't have to be fake. If I need to cuss you out, I'll cuss you out, right? And then 100%. tomorrow, these 600 people will pull up and they'll still see us talking, just like yesterday we didn't have beef, right? So listen, we don't need to pretend to them as though we agree on everything because, like I said, you're an independent thinker and I'm an independent thinker. If we were dumbasses, they wouldn't be here. Clearly, we are triggering their minds and triggering thought, right?
Yeah.
So today we just had a calm approach. Actually, I was even more hostile with the other guests, and maybe it's just because you've been out of the boxing ring for a while, so you're being extra nice. I'm surprised we didn't have an ego play here, which maybe it's also because I've changed my approach because I've become a little bit nicer.
I've changed mine too, bro, by the way, yeah.
Yeah, I've become a little bit nicer, right? You kind of grow up. That's crazy how you just be growing up in front of your own eyes. It's kind of weird, but I appreciate you, Mushi, okay? I was glad to see you on. Like I said, bro, honestly, TikTok is a good environment for me. I appreciate the technology, so I appreciate the people that I interact with. We sharpen each other's minds. And like you said, without a person like me, a person like you would not think the way you think. And without a person like you, a person like me would not think the way we think. So let the guests who are watching be the judge. If you're a Muslim, practice what you freaking preach. If you're a Christian, practice what you freaking preach. I will always come at you if you don't practice what you preach. Yeah.
I think you and I both really dislike dishonesty and hypocrisy.
I actually do, bro, but I feel like the more dishonest someone is, the easier they are for me to manipulate them. So
Yes,
it's
100%,
kind of like,
100%.
because I just got to use your own tricks. I don't even have to bring out my own tricks,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
if me and you are talking, you notice if I watch our old conversations, I try to make you dishonest and you try to make me dishonest. And if I fall for it and I demonstrate any sense of dishonesty, you can use that against me and vice versa,
yeah.
right? So the
Just be
longer we
honest.
speak, the less dishonest we really are, or the more our
Yeah,
ability to kind of navigate the dishonesty and kind of get back on the path of
yeah.
honesty, right? Which is the character
Yes,
that we're trying to demonstrate. Let's talk. We don't have to
yeah.
hate each other, you know?
Of course, of course.
So
I
it's,
never did though. I always found you entertaining, you know?
bro, I
Like
don't care
I
about
feel like
winning or losing.
God put you on earth for me to entertain me, bro.
Look, and and there's nothing you're gonna do that you're not gonna give God credit. So I'm just gonna let it be like that in your
Oh,
imagination, Mushi, in your imagination. I appreciate you,
oh
bro. I
man.
was just live for 5 hours before I came on your show.
You're
So
wild, bro.
yeah,
Yo, it's 4:30. I'm like half asleep. I'm gonna say peace out to the audience. I'm gonna head out soon, like in
no,
like
no, take
five, ten
care, man.
minutes.
You should stay longer, man. You've been out of the game.
Yo, but Kanga,
Appreciate
bro,
it.
I'm going to LA soon. I'm doing a tour across the states. I'm meeting up a bunch of people. So if you want, we can like link up, do a episode together or something, like a
Holy shit!
podcast.
In Cali, I'm down.
Yeah.
No, hit me up. I'm totally down. Live debate.
Okay, so
Bring all your guns.
yeah, yeah. Well, yo, you guys are allowed guns in LA, right? Or in
No,
Cali?
not in Cali, man. It's
What?
illegal. Illegal.
You can't have guns in Cali?
No, but I got muscles, man. So I'm not worried.
Holy smokes.
I got muscles,
Jeez.
man.
Bro, I got none right now. I'm weak.
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't need muscles. You got a lot, right? you
I do.
you just call that Angel Jibril.
I do have Allah. Alhamdulillah.
Ah, man.
Caleb.
Appreciate you, bro.
Caleb. Yo, I can't believe you said I know when I said I have no muscle. Caleb, peace, bro.